Today we're in Aviemore to meet with Scott from Ravenscraig Guesthouse and Chris from Highlands and Islands Adventures mountain bike guiding company. Ravenscraig is a really good example of an accommodation provider that offers an excellent level of service for mountain bikers, from a warm welcome to secure bike storage. Scott and Chris are going to discuss the needs of visiting mountain bikers and the opportunities and benefits that this can present to accommodation providers.
So Chris, H&I travel around the world, guiding mountain bikers, and you probably stay in some pretty amazing places along the way. What is it you look for when you're organising a trip, and what brings you to somewhere like Aviemore?
Hi, well, we're a Scottish company and we now guide in 17 locations across the world, everywhere from sort of riads up in the High Atlas to ranches in the Yukon and here in Scotland. And I think the thing that we look for most, above all else, we only use independent businesses. We don't use big chains and things like that. It's really important for us that the money that we and our customers spend goes straight back into the local economy. And when it comes to individual locations that we use, I think above anything, it's that first initial warm welcome that makes a really big difference to the people we're bringing in.
And when you work with somebody like Ravenscraig here in Aviemore, in terms of facilities, in terms of what we offer, what is it something that generally you would look for as a staple kind of choice for mountain bikers?
Specifically here at Ravenscraig, it's great that there's secure bike storage. It's really nice to be able to rack the bikes, leave them and not worry about them. It's great that there's even simple wash facilities, and the facilities here are beyond simple. It's great to have specific bike wash, but just being able to hose off the bikes after a muddy day and get things fresh ready for the next day's riding, that makes a huge difference. And then on top of that, I think, again, knowing that the people we bring are going to get well looked after, the fact that there's a bit of space for people to relax, and then in the morning they're getting a big hearty breakfast before I'm dragging them over a mountain.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the facilities that we offer, from the bike storage to even the bike wash bay area, having a hose with a jet on the end of it, some cleaning products available, a sponge, a brush, just those simple things that you can buy from the local supermarket, just make that life much easier for the cyclist.
So once we'd been coming here a little while, I was happy leaving kit here and leaving a few scrubbing brushes around, and I think that started off with me forgetting things, but actually, but then you kind of latched onto that and you've built up some pretty amazing supplies that we come and use quite a lot, and there's space for us to work on bikes. It's been nice to see you put in a few tools, even though we're carrying them, just having them there for everybody has been great. Like, what kind of made you start steering things that way a bit?
I think it was really, we saw the opportunity. We didn't realise there was as many cyclists coming through the business when we first took over. So now at Ravenscraig, we've got the bike storage, we have the wash facilities, we have the dry room. I'd like to think we offer people a great Highland welcome, but certainly we really saw an opportunity to grow that cycling market, and it was really important to put those facilities in place. At the end of the day, it's people work very hard to afford some of these quite expensive bikes, and they want to know that their bike is secure when they're sleeping at night.
I think you're touching on a really good point, actually. Mountain bikers are happy to pay for good services. That's it. I think that is sometimes a misconception. I think mountain bikers will, if there's somewhere that's really well tailored to them, they want good food, they want good accommodation, they want to be comfy, because that means that they can enjoy the biking in the day more.
Yeah. I mean, out of all the guests that we have stay here at Ravenscraig, not to take favouritism in any shape or form, but the great thing about cyclists, I find, is that they have a plan when they get here. They already know they're going to be on two wheels. They already roughly know what route they're going to be doing. So they're generally quite organised. They've got a structure to their kind of break, their vacation, their holiday. and it makes our life a lot easier when people know what we're doing when they're on holiday. Certainly when we took over Ravenscraig 3 years ago when we bought the place, cyclists probably weren't top of my list of guests. I've always enjoyed cycling, but I wouldn't say I was an avid mountain biker back then. I've slowly started to get into
You've converted over now.
Slowly started riding on the two wheels, and the kids love it, and even my partner Helena enjoys going out on the bikes now as well. But certainly with the cyclist market, I mean, we see probably in excess of 600 cyclists here last year. But like you say, going back to when people come through the door, often the weather in Scotland is perhaps not the most favourable, and somebody who's just cycled perhaps 60 miles along a muddy cycle track, and they turn up at your front door, the worst thing you can do is send them round the back, short shift, and tell them to take all their kit off. A warm welcome, and knowing that you are welcoming cyclists, and that just because they are muddy or they've got a muddy bike, it's not a problem for your business. So you know, with the facilities that we have here, we'd like to think that, you know, cycling guests feel that they're welcome no matter what state they turn up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're not coming in and repainting the walls, or at least we're trying not to. So a bit of space where people can take their kit off really helps, like even if it's just shoes, so that they can come in. You put the drying room in, which is great for the skiers in the winter, but it's amazing for us as well, getting the shoes dry.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort out.
Yeah, that was something we saw in France actually when we were skiing, but we quickly realised that there was a benefit to the cyclist market as well.
And I think that's really important too as well. You know, in Europe, it's quite common for places to be geared up to take cyclists, be it road, be it mountain biking, whatever. People are looking to travel with their bikes. Adventure tourism is on the up.
Yeah.
And actually with a few small tweaks, but even just with a little bit of a mindset shift, you can really open yourself up to that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many returning guests back to Ravenscraig with their bikes, and once they've seen the facilities, it's really a no-brainer. And you know, our business is very much about repeat business, and especially out of season. So it's definitely an area that other accommodation providers really need to tap into.
I think a lot of people forget that mountain biking is actually a little bit less seasonal than some other sports.
Yeah.
So here in Aviemore, it's quite a seasonal place, and you could even argue the Highlands.
Yeah.
But mountain biking definitely spans those shoulders either side. And do you notice that that's kind of reflected a bit in your bookings, or?
Yeah, very much so. So, you know, Ravenscraig is pretty much open 12 months a year. We have the odd week where we're closed, but we're open because it's beneficial to us. We make money all year round. We see cyclists here every month of the year, and it's a great opportunity for our business to grow in those shoulder months when traditionally probably you wouldn't have as many people around. But by attracting people, and again having those facilities on site, the bike wash facilities, the laundry, especially in those colder, more dirtier months, if you like, on a bike, it certainly makes it more inviting for them to come and stay with us.
So now you're riding quite a bit, and I've noticed obviously you're trying to, it's really good to have that chat with some of the riders that are coming through, with the folk that we bring through, but also the ones that are coming independently as well. And I guess for you, it's kind of now you're starting to see firsthand a little bit more what riders want, and you can even kind of point them to some of the good spots. Maybe I can't tell you about all my secret trails anymore, but how do you find that kind of that sort of back and forth?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm going to be a mountain bike guide come this time next summer, but certainly you get to know some of the trails, and whilst there's technology that can put people in the right direction for some of the local stuff, certainly there's I've got a few tasty little secret trails now that I've found, and can pass on some of that knowledge. And it's certainly welcomed by your guests.
And whilst you're now riding and out there quite a bit, there's a lot of people that run guest houses and accommodation that aren't going to be riding, but it's still easy to make those connections. There's so many bike shops across Scotland that you can go in and just say, hey, look, we're a guest house and we're looking to provide for a few more riders, or even asking, like, can we have some maps of some of there's local trail maps and things like that. Or even just saying, look, what do you have here so I can point some of our guests towards you?
Very much so. I think we're in a good position moving forward in welcoming mountain bikers, and it's a great opportunity to grow our business for the future.
So we've just heard from Chris and Scott, who are a really good example of two businesses collaborating to offer a better level of service to visiting mountain bikers and cyclists. So if you're an accommodation provider and you'd be interested in developing better facilities for mountain bikers and cyclists, the good news is Developing Mountain Biking in Scotland is launching a new mountain bike secure storage grant scheme. The grant scheme is available to businesses in Highlands and Aberdeenshire and offers 50% funding of a maximum of £500 project costs. So for example, if your project costs £1,200, you would be able to apply for a maximum £500 funding. If your project was a maximum of £600, you would be able to apply for match funding of £300. So what would secure mountain bike storage look like? The grant application gives 3 different packages that you can choose from to best suit your business's needs, plus a custom option, so you can make it really fit the space that you've got available. So the benefits to your visiting mountain bikers and cyclists is that when they come in after a day in the trails, they can wash their bike, get it cleaned up and prepared, ready for the next day's riding, and then lock it away securely so they can go and enjoy the rest of their evening stay at your accommodation. Other benefits, obviously, are that it's not just mountain bikers that are going to be coming to stay with you with the same sort of needs. Hill walkers, climbers, skiers, even surfers are all going to be coming potentially with valuable equipment that they want to store away and clothes and gear that they would like to wash ready for the next day's use. So if you'd like to apply for the grant, there are a few simple prerequisites. For example, somewhere where visiting cyclists can wash their bikes, some basic tools and equipment to be able to maintain them, and a general level of local knowledge. And that doesn't mean you need to know the trail network inside out. It could just be simply pointing them to the start of the trails, or it could just be sharing some enthusiasm for where the trails are. So for example, if you've got a mountain biker that comes to you with a map, you can give them a bit of local context there and tell them, well, if your trails are there, there's actually a great cafe around the corner you can visit. All these things, just simple enthusiasm, can really add to visitors' experience. So if you're interested in applying for the Mountain Bike Secure Storage Scheme, please go onto the Developing Mountain Biking in Scotland website or Facebook page, where you'll find links to guidance notes, including a full breakdown of the different packages available, plus an application form. Feel free to contact us if you'd also like to talk through any ideas you have.